and the first verse. These are the earliest generations of mankind: Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahilel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Diphthath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim. The sons of Ham, Cush, Mitzrayim, Canaan, and Put. The sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabtika. The sons of Ramah were Sheba and Dedan. Another of the sons of Cush was Nimrod, who became a great hero. The clans named after the sons of Mitzrayim were Ludim, the Anamim, the Lahabim, the Naphtuhim, the Pathrusim, the Caphtorim, and the Kaluhim, the ancestors of the Philistines. Among Canaan's sons were Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth. Canaan was also the ancestor of the Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Archites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. The sons of Shem, Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, Aram, Uz, Hol, Gether, and Meshach. Arphaxad's sons was Selah, and Selah's son was Eber. Eber had two sons, Peleg, which means divided, for it was during his lifetime that the people of the earth were divided into different language groups, and Joktan. The sons of Joktan, Almodad, Seleph, Hazarmaphath, Zerah, Hadaram, Uzal, Diklah, Ebal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. The son of Shem was Arphaxad. The son of Arphaxad was Shelah. The son of Shelah was Eber. The son of Eber was Peleg. The son of Peleg was Reu. The son of Reu was Serug. The son of Serug was Nahor. The son of Nahor was Terah. The son of Terah was Abraham, later known as Abraham. Abraham's sons were Isaac and Ishmael. The sons of Ishmael, Nebaioth, the oldest, Kedar, Abdil, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. Abraham also had sons by his concubine Keturah: Zimram, Jokshan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan's sons were Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Midian, Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Alda'ah. These were the descendants of Abraham by his concubine Keturah. Abraham's son Isaac had two sons, Esau and Israel. The sons of Esau, Eliphaz, Ruel, Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. The sons of Eliphaz, Teman, Omer, Zephi, Gatam, Kenaz, Timnah, and Amalek. The sons of Ruel, Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mitzah. The sons of Esau also included Lotan, Shobel, Zibeon, Anna, Dishan, Ezer, and Dishan. And Esau's daughter was named Timnah. Lotan's sons, Hori and Homam. The sons of Shobel, Alayan, Manahath, Ebo, Shephi, and Onam. Zibeon's sons were Ayah and Anna. Anna's son was Dishan. The sons of Dishan, Hamran, Eshban, Ithran, and Shiran. The sons of Ezer, Bilhan, Zaphan, and Jachan. Dishan's sons were Uz and Aaron. Here is the list of the names of the kings of Edom who reigned before the kingdom of Israel began. Bela, the son of Beor, who lived in the city of Dinhabah. Where Bela died, Jobab, the son of Zerah from Bozrah, became the new king. When Jobab died, Husham from the country of the Temanites became the king. When Husham died, Hadad, the son of Bedad, the one who destroyed the army of Midian in the fields of Moab, became king and ruled from the city of Avith. When Hadad died, Samlah from the city of Masrekah came to the throne. When Samlah died, Shaul from the river town of Rehoboth became the new king. When Shaul died, Baal-Hanan, the son of Akbar, became king. When Baal-Hanan died, Hadad became king and ruled from the city of Pai. His wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred and granddaughter of Mezahab. At the time of Hadad's death, the kings of Edom were Chief Timnah, Chief Eliah, Chief Jetheth, Chief Oholibamah, Chief Elah, Chief Penin, Chief Kenaz, Chief Teman, Chief Mibzar, Chief Magdiel, Chief Iram. 1 Chronicles chapter 2, verse 1. The sons of Israel were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, Asher. Judah had three sons by Bathshua, a girl from Canaan, Onan, and Shelah. But the oldest son, was so wicked that the Lord killed him. Then Er's widow Tamar and her father-in-law Judah became the parents of twin sons, Perez and Zerah. So Judah had 5 sons. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Humul. The sons of Zerah were Zimri, Ethan, Hemam, Kakul, and Dara. Achan, the son of Carmi, was the man who robbed God and was such a troublemaker for his nation. Ethan's son was Azariah. The sons of Hezron were Jerahmeel, Ram, and Chilebai. Ram was the father of Amminadab, and Amminadab was the father of Nahshon, a leader of Israel. Nahshon was the father of Salma, and Salma was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed, and Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse's first son was Eliab. His second son was Abinadab. His third was Shemaiah. His fourth was Nethanel. His fifth was Radai. His sixth was Ozim, and his seventh was David. He also had 2 girls by the same wife named Zuriah and Abigail. Zuriah's sons were Abishai, Joab, and Asahel. Abigail, whose husband was Jether from the land of Ishmael, had a son named Amasa. Caleb, the son of Hezron, had 2 wives, Azubah and Jerioth. These are the children of Azubah, Jesher, Shobab, and Ardan. After Azubah's death, Caleb married Ephrath, who presented him with his son Hur. Hur's son was Uri, and Uri's son was Bezaleel. Hezron married Micah's daughter at the age of 60, and she presented him with the son Segub. Micah was also the father of Gilead. Segub was the father of Jair, who ruled 23 cities in the land of Gilead. But Gesher and Aram wrested these cities from him and also took Keneth and his 60 surrounding villages. Soon after his father Hezron's death, Caleb married Ephrathah, his father's widow, and she gave birth to Ashbor, the father of Tekoa. These are the sons of Jerahmeel, the oldest son of Hezron, Ram, the oldest, Bunah, Oren, Ozim, and Ahijah. Jerahmeel's second wife, Atara, was the mother of Onam. The sons of Ram, Maaz, Jamin, and Eker. Onam's sons were Shammai and Jadah. Shammai's sons were Nadab and Abishur. The sons of Abishur and his wife Abihail were Abban and Molid. Nabon's sons were Seled and Apiam. Seled died without children, but Apiam had a son named Ishai. Ishai's son was Shishan, and Shishan's son was Ali. Shemaiah's brother Jada had 2 sons, Jether and Jonathan. Jether died without children, but Jonathan had 2 sons named Peleth and Zaza. Shishan had no sons, although he had several daughters. He gave one of his daughters to be the wife of Jarha, his Egyptian servant, and they had a son whom they named Attiah. Attiah's son was Nathan. Nathan's son was Zabad. Zabad's son was Ephlal. Ephlau's son was Obed. Obed's son was Jehu. Jehu's son was Azariah. Azariah's son was Helez. Helez's son was Elisah. Elisah's son was Sismai. Sismai's son was Shallum. Shallum's son was Jechamiah. Jechamiah's son was Elishama. The oldest son of Caleb, Jerahmeel's brother, was Mesha. He was the father of Ziph, who was the father of Merishah, who was the father of Hebron. The sons of Hebron, Korah, Tapua, Rechem, and Shema. Shema was the father of Raham, who was the father of Jerokim. Rekem was the father of Shemaiah. Shemaiah's son was Maon, the father of Bezzer. Caleb's concubine Ephah bore him Heron, Mosa, and Gaziz. Heron had a son named Gaziz. The sons of Jaddai, Regem, Jotham, Geshan, Pelet, Ephah, and Sheaph. Another of Caleb's concubines, Makkah, bore him Sheber. Tir-Hana, Sheaph, the father of Madmana, and Shiva, the father of Macbena and Gibeah. Caleb also had a daughter whose name was Akshah. The sons of Hur, who was the oldest son of Caleb and Ephrathah, were Shobal, the father of Kiriath Jearim, Salma, the father of Bethlehem, and Hareph, the father of Beth Gader. Shobal's sons included Kiriath Jearim and Horoah, the ancestor of half of the Menuhoth tribe. The families of Kiriath Jearim were the Ithrites, the Puthites, the Shumathites, and the Meshrites, from whom descended the Zorathites and Eshtaolites. The descendants of Salma were his son Bethlehem, the Netophathites, the Athrobeth Joab, half of the Mahathites, and the Zorites. They also included the families of the writers living at Jabez, the Tirathites, Shimeathites, and Sukathites. All these are Kenites who descended from Hama, the founder of the family of Rechab. 1 Chronicles chapter 3. King David's oldest son was Amon, who was born to his wife Ahinoam of Jezreel. The second was Daniel, whose mother was Abigail from Carmel. The third was Absalom, the son of his wife Maacah, who was the daughter of King Talmai of Geshur. The fourth was Adonijah, the son of Haggith. The fifth was Shephatiah, the son of Abital. The sixth was Ithream, the son of his wife Eglah. These six were born to him in Hebron, where he reigned 7.5 years. Then he moved the capital to Jerusalem, where he reigned another 33 years. While he was in Jerusalem, his wife Bathsheba, the daughter of Amiel, became the mother of his sons Shemiah, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. David also had 9 other sons: Ibhar, Elishama, Eliphalet, Nogah, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Elida, and Eliphalet. This list does not include the sons of his concubines. David also had a daughter, Tamar. These are the descendants of King Solomon: Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, Jehoshaphat, Jehoram, Ahaziah, Joash, Amaziah, Azariah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Ammon, Josiah. The sons of Josiah were Jehonan, Jehoiakim, Zedekiah, Shallum. The sons of Jehoiakim, Jeconiah, Zedekiah. These are the sons who were born to King Jeconiah during the years that he was under house arrest: Shealtiel, Malchiram, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechemiah, Hoshama, Nedabiah. Bedabiah was the father of Zerubbabel and Shimei. Zerubbabel's children were Meshullam, Hananiah, Hashubah, Ohel, Berechiah, Hasadiah, Jashub Hesed, Shelomith, a daughter. Hananiah's sons were Pelatiah and Jehashiah. Jehiah's son was Rephahiah. Rephahiah's son was Arnon. Arnon's son was Obadiah. Obadiah's son was Shechaniah. Shechaniah's son was Shemaiah. Shemaiah had 6 sons, including Hattush, Igal, Bariah, Neriah, and Shaphat. Neriah had 3 sons: Elionaiah, Hizkiah, Azarachim. Eloniah had 7 sons: Hodaviah, Elishib, Peliah, Aku, Johanan, Deliah, and Anaiah. The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 4, verse 1. These are the sons of Judah: Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Hur, Shobal. Shobal's sons: Reiah was the father of Jaath, the ancestor of Humai and Lahab. They were known as the Zorathite clans. The descendants of Etam: Jezreel, Ishma, Idbash, Hazalipaloni, his daughter; Penuel, the ancestor of Geder; Ezer, the ancestor of Hushah, the son of Hur, the oldest son of Ephrathah, who was the father of Bethlehem. Ashur, the father of Tekoa, had 2 wives, Helah and Nara'ah. Narah bore him Hazuam, Hefer, Timnai, and Hasheratai, and Helah bore him Zereth, Izhar, and Ethnath. Koz was the father of Anub and Zobebah. He was the ancestor of the clan named after Arhel El, the son of Harun. Jabez was more distinguished than any of his brothers. His mother named him Jabez because she had had such a hard time at his birth. Jabez means distress. He was the one who prayed to the God of Israel: "Oh, that you would wonderfully bless me and help me in my work. Please be with me in all that I do and keep me from all the evil and disaster." And God granted him his request. The descendants of Rechab were Shelub, the brother of Shohah, whose son was Mahor, the father of Eshton. Eshton was the father of Beth-Rapha, Paseah, and Tehidnah. Tehidnah was the father of Ir-Nahash. The sons of Kenaz were Othniel and Sariah. Othniel's sons were Hahath and Menohothai. Menohothai was the father of Ophrah. Sariah was the father of Joab, the ancestor of the inhabitants of Craftsman Valley, called that because of the many craftsmen that lived there. The son of Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, Ur, Elah, Nahum. The sons of Elah included Kenaz. Jehalel's sons were Ziph, Ziphah, Tariah, Azarel. Azarel's sons were Jether, Mered, Epher, Jalon. Mered married Bethiah, an Egyptian princess. She was the mother of Miriam, Shammai, and Ishbah, an ancestor of Eshtemoa. Eshtemoa's wife was a Jewess. She was a member of Jared, Heber, Jekuthiel, who were respectively the ancestors of the Gederites, Soakites, Zenonahites. Hodiah's wife was the sister of Naham. One of her sons was the father of Kilai, the Garmite, and another was the father of Eshtoma, the Maacathite. The sons of Shimon: Amnon, Rina, Benanan, Telon. The sons of Ishai: Zeoeth, Benzoeth. The sons of Shelah, the son of Judah. The father of Lekah. Laedah, the father of Marisha. The families of the linen workers who worked at Beth Ashbea, Jocham. The clans of Kozeba, Joash, Seraph, who was the ruler in Moab before he returned to Lehem. These names all came from very ancient records. These clans were noted for their pottery, gardening, and planting. They all worked for the king. The sons of Simeon: Nemuel, Jamin, Zerah, Shaul. Shaul was son was Shalom. His grandson was Mibsam, and his great-grandson was Mishma. Mishma's sons included Hamuel, the father of Zachor and grandfather of Shimei. Shimei had 16 sons and 6 daughters, but none of his brothers had large families. They all had fewer children than was normal in Judah. They lived at Beersheba, Moladah, Hazarzuel, Bilhah, Ezem, Tolad, Bethuel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Marakabath, Hazar Susim, Beth Birai, and Sha'arim. These cities were under their control until the time of David. Their descendants also lived in or near Etam, Aon, Rimmon, Token, and Ashan. Some were far away as Baal. These facts are recorded in their genealogies. These are the names of some of the princes of wealthy clans who traveled to the east side of Gedor Valley in search of pasture for their flocks: Meshobab, Jamlech, Shoshah, Joel, Jehu, Elikaniah, Zachariah, Jehoshaiah, Asaiah, Adiel, Jesmiel, Benaiah, Ziza, the son of Shiphi, son of Elam, son of Jediah, and son of Shimri, and son of Shemaiah. They found good pastures, and everything was quiet and peaceful. But the land belonged to the descendants of Ham. So during the reign of King Hezekiah of Judah, these princes invaded the land and struck down the tents and houses of the descendants of Ham. They killed the inhabitants of the land and took possession of it for themselves. Later, 500 of these invaders from the tribe of Simeon went up to Mount Seir. Their leaders were Pelatiah, Neriah, Raphiah, and Uzziel, the sons of Ishi. There, they destroyed the few surviving members of the tribe of Amalek, and they have lived there ever since. The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 1. The oldest son of Israel was Reuben, but since he dishonored his father by sleeping with one of his father's wives, his birthright was given to his half-brother Joseph. So the official genealogy doesn't name Reuben as the oldest son. Although Joseph received the birthright, yet Judah was a powerful and influential tribe in Israel, and from Judah came a prince. The sons of Reuben, Israel's son, were Hanak, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. Joel's descendants were his son Shemaiah, his grandson Gog, and his great-grandson Shemaiah. Shemaiah's son was Micah. His grandson was Reiah, and his great-grandson was Baal. Baal's son was Beriah. He was prince of the tribe of Reuben and was taken into captivity by King Tiglath-Pileser of Assyria. His relatives became heads of the clans and were included in the official genealogy: Jeiel, Zechariah, Bela, the son of Azaz, grandson of Shema, and great-grandson of Joel. These Reubenites lived in Oriar and as far distant as Mount Nebo and Baal Meon. Joel was a cattleman, and he pastured his animals eastward to the edge of the desert and to the Euphrates River, for there were many cattle in the land of Gilead. During the reign of King Saul, the men of Reuben defeated the Hagarites in war and moved into their tents on the eastern edge of Gilead. Across from them in the land of Bashan lived the descendants of Gad, who were spread as far as Salikah. Joel was the greatest and was followed by Shaphan, also Janiah, and Shaphat. The relatives, the heads of these 7 clans, were Michael, Meshulam, Sheba, Zariah, Zachan, Zia, and Eber. The descendants of Buz in the order of their generations were Jado, Jehashiah, Mikael, Gilead, Zorah, Hurai, Abihail. Ahai was the son of Abdiel, the grandson of Gunai, was the leader of the clan. The clan lived in and around Gilead in the land of Bashan, and throughout the entire pasture country of Sharon. All were included in the official genealogy at the time of King Jotham of Judah and King Jeroboam of Israel. There were 44,760 armed, trained, and brave troops in the army of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. They declared war on the Hagarites, the Jithrites, the Naphishites, the Nodabites. They cried out to God to help them, and he did, and they trusted in him. So the Hagarites and all their allies were defeated. The booty included 50,000 camels, 250,000 sheep, 2,000 donkey, and 100,000 captives. A great number of the enemy also died in the battle, for God was fighting against them. So the Reubenites lived in the territory of the Hagarites until the time of the exile. The half-tribe of Manasseh spread through the land of Bashan to Baal Hermon, Senir, and Mount Hermon. They too were very numerous. The chiefs of their clans were the following: Epher, Ishai, Eliel, Azrael, Jeremiah, Hodaviah, Jadiel. Each of these men had a great reputation as a warrior and leader, but they were not true to the God of their fathers. Instead, they worshiped the idols of the people whom God had destroyed. So God caused King Pul of Assyria, also known as Tiglath-Pileser III, to invade the land and deport the men of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. They took them to Hala, Habor, Hara, and the Gozan River, where they remain to this day. 1 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 1. 1 Chronicles 6 and 1. These are the names of the sons of Levi: Gershom, Kohath, Merari. Kohath's sons were Amram, Izhar, Hebron, Uzziel. Amram's descendants included Aaron, Moses, Miriam. Aaron's sons were Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, Ithamar. The oldest sons of the successive generations of Aaron were as follows: Eleazar, father of Phinehas, the father of Abishua, the father of Buki, the father of Uzi, the father of Zerahiah, the father of Marioth, the father of Amariah, the father of Ahitub, the father of Zadok, the father of Ahimaaz, the father of Azariah, the father of Johanan, the father of Azariah, the high priest in Solomon's temple at Jerusalem, the father of Amariah, the father of Ahitub, the father of Zadok, the father of Shallum, the father of Hilkiah, the father of Azariah, the father of Sariah, the father of Jehozadak, who went into exile when the Lord sent the people of Judah and Jerusalem into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. As previously stated, the sons of Levi were Gershom, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Gershom were Libni and Shemiah. The sons of Kohath were Amram, Izhar, Hebron, Uzziel. The sons of Merari were Mali, Mushi. The subclans of the Levites were in the Gershom clan: Libni, Jahath, Zimmah, Zoah, Edo, Zerah, Zerathiah. In the Korath clan: Aminadab, Korah, Isser, Elkanah, Ebiasaph, Raser, Tahath, Uriel, Uzziah, Shaul. The subclan of Elkanah was further divided into the families of his sons: Amasiah, Ahimoth, Elkanah, Zophai, Nahath, Eliah, Jehoram, Elkanah. The families of the subclan of Samuel were headed by Samuel's sons: Joel, the oldest, Abijah, the second. The subclan of the clans of Merari were headed by his sons: Mali, Libni, Shemaiah, Uzzah, Shimei, Haggiah, Asaiah. King David appointed song leaders and choirs to praise God in the tabernacle after he had placed the ark in it. Then when Solomon built the temple of Jerusalem, the choirs carried on their work there. These are the names of the ancestries of the choir leaders. Heman, the cantor, was from the clan of Kohath. His genealogy was traced back through Joel, Samuel, Elkanah III, Jehoram, Eliel, Toah, Zuph, Elkanah II, Mahath, Amasiah, Elkanah the first, Joel, Azariah, Zephaniah, Taath, Aser, Ebiasaphath, Korah, Izhar, Kohath, Levi, Israel. Herman's assistant was his colleague Asaph, whose genealogy was traced back through Berechiah, Shemaiah, Michael, Besiah, Milkijah, Ethni, Zerah, Adiah, Etham, Zimmah, Shimei, Jahath, Gershom, Levi. Herman's second assistant was Ethan, a representative from the clan of Merari, who stood on his left. Merari's ancestry was traced back through Kishai, Abdi, Maluk, Hashabiah, Amaziah, Hilkiah, Amzi, Benai, Shemer, Mali, Mushi, Merari, Levi. Their relatives, all the other Levites, were appointed to the various other tasks in the tabernacle. But only Aaron and his descendants were the priests. Their duties included sacrificing burnt offerings and incense, handling all the tasks relating to the inner sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, and the tasks relating to the annual Day of Atonement for Israel. They saw to it that all the details commanded by Moses, the servant of God, were strictly followed. The descendants of Aaron were Eleazar, Phinehas, Abishua, Buki, Uzi, Zerahiah, Amariah, Ahitub, Zadok, Amahaz. This is a record of the cities and land assigned by lot to the descendants of Aaron, all of whom were members of the Kohath clan. Hebron and surrounding pasture lands in Judah, although the fields and suburbs were given to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and the following cities of refuge with their surrounding pasture lands: Libnah, Jattir, Eshtemoa, Hilen, Deber, Eshen, Beth Shemesh. 13 other cities with surrounding pastures included Geba, Alamoth, Anathoth, were given to the priests by the tribe of Benjamin. Lots were then drawn to assign land to the remaining descendants of Kohath, and they received 10 cities in the territory of the half-tribe of Manasseh. The subclans of the Gershom clan received by lot 13 cities in the Bashan area from the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and Manasseh. The subclans of Merari received by 12 lot cities from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. Cities and pasture lands were also assigned by lot to the Levites and then renamed from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. The tribe of Ephraim gave these cities of refuge with the surrounding pasture lands to the subclans of Kohath, Shechem in Mount Ephraim, Gezer, Jokmeam, Beth-horon, Aijalon, Gath-rimmon. The following cities of refuge and their pasture lands were given to the subclans of the Kohathites by the half-tribe of Manasseh, Aner, Bileam. Cities of refuge and pasture land given to the clan of Gershon by the half-tribe of Manasseh were Golan and Bashan, Ashtaroth. The tribe of Issachar gave them Kadesh, Debarathath, Ramoth, and Anam, and the surrounding pasture land of each. The tribe of Asher gave them Abdon, Mashul, Hukok, and Rehal with their pasture lands. The tribe of Naphtali gave them Kadesh and Galilee, Hamam, and Kerethaim with pasture lands. The tribe of Zebulun gave Ramono and Tabor to the Merari clan as cities of refuge. And across the Jordan River opposite Jericho, the tribe of Reuben gave them Bezer, a desert town, Jasa, Kedemoth, and Mephaath, along with their pasture lands. The tribe of Gad gave them Ramoth and Gilead, Mahanaim, Heshbon, and Jazer, each with their surrounding pasture lands. 1 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 1. The sons of Issachar, Tola, Pua, Jashub, Shimron. The sons of Tola, each of whom was the head of the subclan, Uzi, Raphiah, Jeriel, Jashmai, Ibsan, Shemiel. At the time of King David, the total number of men of war from these families was 22,600. Uzi's son was Azariah, among whose 5 sons were Michael, Obadiah, Joel, and Isaiah, all chiefs of subclans. Their descendants at the time of King David numbered 36,000 troops, for all 5 of them had several wives and many sons. The total number of men available for military service from all the clans of the tribe of Issachar was 87,000, stout-hearted warriors, all included in the official genealogy. The sons of Benjamin were Bela, Becher, Jadiel. The sons of Bela, Esbon, Uziel, Jeremoth, Eri. These 5 mighty warriors were chiefs of subclans and were leaders of 22,034 troops, all of whom were recorded in the official genealogies. The sons of Becher were Zemira, Joash, Eleazar, Elaniah, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, Elameth. At the time of David, there were 20,200 mighty warriors among their descendants, and they were led by clan chiefs. The son of Jediel was Bilhan, and the sons of Bilhan were Jeush, Benjamin, Ehud, Chenaah, Jethan, Tarshish, Abihahar. These were the chiefs of the subclans of Jediel, and their descendants included 17,200 warriors at the time of King David. The sons of Er were Shupham and Hupim. Husham was one of the sons of Ahar. The sons of Naphtali, descendants of Jacob's wife Bilhah, were Jaziel, Guni, Jazer, Shalom. The sons of Manasseh, born to his Aramean concubine, were Azriel and Mechir, who became the father of Gilead. It was Mechir who found wives for Hupim and Supim. Mechir's sister was Maacah. Another descendant was Zelophehad, who had only daughters. Machir's wife, also named Maacah, bore him a son, whom she named Perish. His brother's name was Sheresh, and he had sons named Ulam and Rechem. Ulam's son was Bedin. These were the sons of Gilead, the grandsons of Mechir, and the great-grandsons of Manasseh. Hamelech, Machir's sister, bore Ishad, Abiezer, and Malach. The sons of Shemida were Ahian, Shechem, Lekai, and Eneam. The sons of Ephraim, Shutulah, Bered, Tehath, Elidah, Tamath, Zadad, Shalutalah, Ezer, Eliab. Elad and Ezer attempted to rustle cattle at Gath, but they were killed by the local farmers. Their father, Ephraim, mourned for them a long time, and his brothers tried to comfort him. Afterwards, his wife conceived and bore a son, whom he called Beriah, meaning a tragedy because of what had happened. Ephraim's daughter's name was Shira. She built Lower and Upper Beth-horon in Azan-Shira. This is Ephraim's line of descent. Repha, the father of Resheph, the father of Tela, the father of Taham, the father of Ladan, the father of Ammihud, the father of Elishama, the father of Nun, the father of Joshua. They lived in an area bounded on one side by Bethel and its surrounding towns, on the east side by Naran, and on the west by Gezer and its villages, and finally Shechem and its surrounding villages, as far as Aiah and its towns. The tribe of Manasseh, descendants of Joseph, the son of Israel, controlled the following cities and their surrounding areas: Bet-Shean, Tanakh, Megiddo, and Dor. The children of Asher, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, Shebariah, Sarah, their sister. The sons of Beriah were Heber, Machalel, the father of Berzah. Heber's children were Japhlet, Shomer, Hotham, Shua, their sister. Japhlet's sons were Prashak, Bimhal, Ashva. His brothers Shomer's sons were Roka, Jehubah, Aram. The sons of his brother Hotham were Zophah, Emma, Shelesh, Amal. The sons of Zophah were Sha'u, Har Nephar, Shu'u, Pire, Imrah, Bezer, Had, Shammah, Shil, Shah, Ithran, Bera. The sons of Ithran were Jephannah, Pispa, Era. The sons of Ulah were Era, Haniel, Rizia. These descendants of Asher were heads of subclans, and were also skilled warriors and chiefs. Their descendants in the official genealogy numbered 36,000 men. 1 Chronicles chapter 8, verse 1. The sons of Benjamin, according to age, were Bela, the first Ashbel, the second Ahara, the third Noha, the fourth Rapha, the fifth. The sons of Bela, The sons of Bela were Adar, Gera, Abihud, Abushua, Naaman, Ahoa, Jira, Shephufim, and Huram. The sons of Ehud, chiefs of the subclans living at Geber, were captured in war and exiled to Manathah. They were Naaman, Ahijah, Gera, and also called Heglam, the father of Usa, and Hehud. Need some flavor beside water, reading all of this. Shaharim divorced his wives. Oh, he did. Shaharim divorced his wives, Husham and Bara, but he had children in the land of Moab by Hodesh, his new wife. Ain't that nothing? Jobab, Zabiah, Mesha, Malcolm, Jehu, Sakiah, Mirma. These all sons became chiefs in subclans. Subclans. I keep saying subclans. Subclans. His wife Husham had borne Bitu and Elpal. The sons of Elpal were Eber, Misham, Shemed, who built Ono and Lod and their surrounding villages. His other sons were Beriah and Shema, chiefs of the subclans living in Ajalon. They chased out the inhabitants of Gab. Epel's sons also included Ahio, Shashak, Jeremiah. The sons of Beriah were Zebediah, Arad, Eder, Michael, Ishpa, Joab. The sons of Elpal also included Zebediah, Meshullam, Hizkai, Heber, Ishmariah, Isliah, and Jobab. The sons of Shimei were Jachim, Zikri, Zabdi, Eliah, Zelathai, Eliel, Adiah, Beriah, Shimrah. The sons of Shashak were Ishvan, Eber, Eliel, Abdon, Zikri, Hanan, Hananiah, Elam, Anthothijah, Iphidiah, Manuel. The sons of Joram were Shamshirai, Shechariah, Athaliah, Jereshiah, Elijah, Zikri. These were the chiefs of the subclans. Got it. Living at Jerusalem. Jael, the father of Gibeon, lived at Gibeon, and his wife's name was Ma'ah. His oldest son was Abdon, followed by Zur, Kish, Baal, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zeker, Miklah, who was the father of Shemiah. All of these families lived together near Jerusalem. Ner was the father of Kish, and Kish was the father of Saul. Saul's sons included Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, Eshbaal. The son of Jonathan was Mephibosheth. The son of Mephibosheth was Micah. The sons of Micah, Pethan, Melech, Terah, Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jehodah. Jehodah was the father of Elima, Asmaph, Zimri. Zimri's son was Mosa. Mosa was the father of Beniah, whose son was Rapha, Eliasaph, Ezel. Ezel had 6 sons, Ezrikam, Bokira, Ishmael, Sariah, Obadiah, Hanan. Azel's brother Enshek had 3 sons, Ulam, the first Jeush, the second Eliphalet, the third. Ulam's sons were prominent warriors who were expert marksmen with their bows. The men had 150 sons and grandsons, and they were all from the tribe of Benjamin. 1 Chronicles chapter 9. The family tree of every person in Israel was carefully recorded in the annals of the kings of Israel. Judah was exiled to Babylon because the people worshiped idols. The first to return and live again in their former cities were families from the tribes of Israel, and also the priests, the Levites, and the temple assistants. Then some families from the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh arrived in Jerusalem. One family that was that of Uthaiah, the son of Minhud, son of Omri, son of Imri, son of Bani, of the clan of Perez, son of Judah. The Shilonites were another family to return, including Asaiah, Shilon's oldest son, and his sons. There were also the sons of Zerah, including Jeuel and his relatives, 690 in all. Among the members of the tribe of Benjamin who returned were these: Salu, the son of Meshullam, the son of Hodaviah, the son of Hasanua, Ibniah, the son of Jehoram, Elah, the son of Uzi, the son of Meker, Meshullam, the son of Shephatiah, the son of Reuel, the son of Abinijah. These men were all chiefs of subclans. A total of 956 Benjamites returned. The priests who returned were Jedediah, Jehoriah, Jachin, Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, son of Meshullam, son of Zadok, son of Mirtha, son of Atu. He was the chief custodian of the temple. Another of the returning priests was Adiah, the son of Jehoram, son of Pashur, son of Malchijah. Another priest was Messiah, son of Adiel, son of Jazerah, son of Meshullam, son of Meshullam, a son of Immer. In all, 1,760 priests returned. Among the Levites who returned was Shemaiah, son of Hashub, son of Ezrakam, son of Hashabiah, who was the descendant of Merari. Other Levites who returned included Bakar, Heresh, Galel, Mattaniah, the son of Micah, who was the son of Zichri, the son of Asaph, Obadiah, son of Shemaiah, son of Gallo, son of Jeduthun, Berechiah, son of Asa, son of Elkanah, who lived in the area of the Netophathites. The gatekeepers were Shallum, the chief gatekeeper, Akbud, Talmon, Ahinam, all Levites. These are still responsible for the eastern royal gate. Shallum's ancestry went back through Kori and Ebisaph to Korah. He and his close relatives, the Korahites, were in charge of the sacrifices and the protection of the sanctuary, just as their ancestors had supervised and guarded the tabernacle. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, was the first director of this division in ancient times, and the Lord was with him. Verse 21. At that time, Zechariah, the son of Meshelemiah, had been responsible for the protection of the entrance to the tabernacle. There were 212 doorkeepers in those days. They were chosen from their villages on the basis of their genealogies, and they were appointed by David and Samuel because of their reliability. They and their descendants were in charge of the Lord's tabernacle. They were assigned to each of the four sides, east, west, north, and south, and the relatives in the villages were assigned to help them from time to time for 7 days at a time. The four head gatekeepers, all Levites, were in an office of great trust, for they were responsible for the rooms and treasuries in the tabernacle of God. Because of their important positions, they lived near the tabernacle, and they opened the gates each morning. Some of them were assigned to care for the various vessels used in the sacrifices and worship. They checked them in and out to avoid loss. Others were responsible for the furniture, the items in the sanctuary, and the supplies such as fine flour, wine, incense, and spices. Other priests prepared the spices and incense, and Mattathiah, a Levite and the oldest son of Shallum, the Korathite, was entrusted with making the flat cakes for grain offerings. Some members of Korath were in charge of the preparation of the special bread each Sabbath. The cantors were all prominent Levites. They lived in Jerusalem at the temple and were on duty at all hours. They were free from other responsibilities and were selected by their genealogies. Jael, the wife of Makkah, lived in Gibeon. He had many sons. Jael, whose wife was Makkah, lived in Gibeon. He had many sons, including Gibeon, Abdon, the oldest, Zur, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab, Kedar, Ahio, Zechariah, Mikloth. Mikloth lived with his son Shimeon in Memphis near his relatives. Ner was the father of Kish. Kish was the father of Saul. Saul was the father of Jonathan, Melchi-Shua, Abinadab, and Eshbaal. Jonathan was the father of Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth was the father of Micah. Micah was the father of Pithon, Melechah, Tari, and Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Zara. Zara was the father of Alameth, Asmaveth, and Zimri. Zimri was the father of Moza. Moza was the father of Beniah, Rephaiah, Elisha, Ezel. Ezel had 6 sons: Azirachim, Bokirah, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, Hanan. The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 10, verse 1. The Philistines attacked and defeated the Israeli troops who turned and fled and were slaughtered on the slopes of Mount Gilboa. They caught up with Saul and his 3 sons, Jonathan, Abinadab, Malchishua, and killed them all. Saul had been hard pressed with heavy fighting all around him when the Philistine archers shot and wounded him. He cried out to his bodyguard, "Quick, kill me with your sword before these uncircumcised heathen capture and torture me." But the man was afraid to do it, so Saul took his own sword and fell against his point and pierced his body. Then his bodyguard, seeing that Saul was dead, killed himself in the same way. So Saul and his 3 sons died together. The entire family was wiped out in one day. When the Israelis in the valley below the mountain heard that their troops had been routed and that Saul and his sons were dead, they abandoned their cities and fled. And the Philistines came and lived in them. When the Philistines went back the next day to strip the bodies of the men killed in action and to gather the booty from the battlefield, they found the bodies of Saul and his sons. So they stripped off Saul's armor and cut off his head. Then they displayed them throughout the nation and celebrated the wonderful news before their idols. They fastened his armor to the walls of the temple of the gods and nailed his head to the wall of Dagon's temple. But when the people of Jabesh Gilead heard that what the Philistines had done to Saul, their heroic warriors went out to the battlefield and brought back his bodies and the bodies of his 3 sons. Brought back his body. Then they buried them beneath the oak tree at Jabesh and mourned and fasted for 7 days. Saul died for his disobedience to the Lord and because he had consulted a medium and did not ask the Lord for guidance. So the Lord killed him and gave the kingdom to David, the son of Jesse. 1 Chronicles 11:1. Then the leaders of Israel went to David at Hebron and told him, "We are your relatives, and even when Saul was king, you were the one who led our armies to battle and brought them safely back again. And the Lord has told you, you should be the shepherd of my people, Israel. You shall be their king." So David made a contract with them before the Lord, and they anointed him as king of Israel, just as the Lord had told Samuel. Then David and the leaders went to Jerusalem, or Jebus, as it used to be called, where the Jebusites, the original inhabitants of the land, lived. But the people of Jebus refused to let them enter the city. So David captured the fortress of Zion, later called the city of David, and said to his men, "The first man to kill a Jebusite shall be made commander-in-chief." Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was the first, so he became the general of David's army. David lived in the fortress, and that is why the area of Jerusalem is called the city of David. He extended the city out around the fortress while Joab rebuilt the rest of Jerusalem, and David became more and more famous and powerful, for the Lord of heavens was with him, the Lord of the heavens. These are the names of some of the bravest of David's warriors, who also encouraged the leaders of Israel to make David their king, as the Lord said would happen. Jeshobeam, the son of a man from Hakkam, was the leader of the top 3. The 3 greatest heroes among David's men. He once killed 300 men with his spear. The second of the top tier was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, a member of the sub-clan of Ahoth. He was with David in the battle against the Philistines at Pas-Dan Mountain. The Israeli army was in a barley field and had begun to run away, but he held his ground in the middle of the field and recovered it and slaughtered the Philistines, and the Lord saved them with a great victory. Another time, 3 of the 30 went to David while he was hiding in the cave of Adullam. The Philistines were camped in the valley of Rephaim, and David was in the stronghold at the time. An outpost of the Philistines had occupied Bethlehem. David wanted to drink from the Bethlehem well beside the gate, and when he mentioned this to his men, these 3 broke through the Philistine camp, drew some water from the well, and brought it back to David, but he refused to drink it. "Oh no, David, you'd have had to drink that water." Instead, he poured it out now as an offering to the Lord and said, "God forbid that I should drink it. It is the very blood of these men who risked their lives to get it." Abishai, Joab's brother, was commander of the 30. He had gained his place among the 30 by killing 300 men at one time with his spear. He was a chief and the most famous of the 30, but he was not as great as the 3. Benaiah, whose father was a mighty warrior from Kabzeel, killed the 2 famous giants from Moab. He also killed a lion in a slippery pit when there was snow on the ground. Once he killed an Egyptian who was 7.5 feet tall, whose spear was as thick as a weaver's beam. But Benaiah went up to him with only a club in his hand and pulled the spear away from him and used it to kill him. He was nearly as great as the 3, and he was very famous among the 30. David made him captain of his bodyguard. Other famous warriors among David's men were Ashiel, Joab's brother, Elhanan, the son of Dodo from Bethlehem, Shamoth from Harat, Helez from Pelin, Ira, son of Ikesh from Tekoa, Abiezer from Anathoth, Sibekah from Hushat, Eli from Ahoth, Maharet from Netophah, Heled, son of Benai from Netophah, Ittai, son of Ribai, a Benjamite from Gibeah, Benai from Barathon, Huriah from near the brooks of Gaash, Abiel from Arbath, Asmevath from Bahuram, Elishabah from Shalbon, the sons of Hashem and from Gizim, Jonathan, son of Shagi from Harar, also Ahiam, son of Shekor from Harar, Eliphel, son of Ur, Hefer from Makarath, Ahijah from Pelin, Hezro from Carmel, Narai, son of Ezbai, Joel, brother of Nathan, Midbar, son of Hagrai, Zelek from Ammon, Naharai from Beroth. He was General Joab's armor bearer. Ira from Ithra, Gareb from Ithra, Uriah the Hittite, Zabad, son of Aliah, Adina, son of Shizah from the tribe of Reuben. He was among the 31 leaders of the tribe of Reuben. Hanan, son of Makkah, Joshaphat from Mitnah, Uzziah from Ashteroth, Shammah and Jeiel, sons of Hothan from Uriah, Jediel, son of Shimri, Joha, his brother from Tizah, Eliel from Mahavai, Jerubai from Joshaphiah, sons of Elman, Ithma from Oab, Eliel, Obed, Jesiel from Mazobah. 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 1. These are the names of the famous warriors who joined David at Ziklag while he was hiding from King Saul. All of them were expert archers and slingers, and they could use their left hands as readily as their right. Like King Saul, they were all from the tribe of Benjamin. Their chief was Aziel, son of Shema from Gibeah. The others were his brother Joash, Jaziel and Pelet, sons of Asmapheth, Berekah, Jehu from Anathoth, Ishmaiah from Gibeon, a brave warrior rated as high or higher than the 30. Jeremiah, Jehaziel, Johanan, Zazabad from Gedariah, Elohiziah, Jeremoth, Beliah, Shemariah, Sheptiah from Haruth, Elkanah, Isaiah, Azarel, Jozar, Joshabim, all Korahites, Joliah, and Zebediah, son of Jerome from Geder. Great and brave warriors from the tribe of Gad also went to David in the wilderness. They were experts with both shield and spear and were lion-faced men, swift as deer upon the mountains. Ezer was chief. Obadiah was second in command. Eliab was third in command. Mishmannah was fourth in command. Jeremiah was fifth in command. Attiah was sixth in command. Eliel was seventh in command. Johanan was eighth in command. Elzabad was ninth in command. Jeremiah was 10th in command. Machbani was 11th in command. These men were army officers. The weakest worth 100 normal troops, and the greatest was worth 1,000. They crossed the Jordan River during its seasonal flooding and conquered the lowlands on both east and west banks. Others came to David from Benjamin and Judah. David went out to meet them and said, "If you come to help me, we're friends. But if you come to betray me to my enemies when I'm innocent, then may the God of our fathers see and judge you." Then the Holy Spirit came upon them, and Amasai, the leader of the 30, replied, "We are yours, David. We are on your side, son of Jesse. Peace, peace be unto you, and peace to all who aid you, for your God is with you." So David let them join in, and he made them captains of his army. Some men from Manasseh deserted the Israeli army and joined David just as he was going into battle with the Philistines against King Saul. But as it turned out, the Philistine generals refused to let David and his men go with them. After much discussion, they sent them back, for they were afraid that David and his men would imperil them by deserting to King Saul. Here is the list of the men from Manasseh who deserted to David as he was en route to Ziklag: Anna, Jazabad, Jediel, Michael, Jozabad, Eliel, Zelathai. Each was a high-ranking officer of Manasseh's troops. They were brave and able warriors, and they assisted David when he fought against the Amalek raiders at Ziklag. More men joined David almost every day until he had a tremendous army, the army of God. Here's the registry of the recruits who joined David at Hebron. They were all anxious to see David become king instead of Saul, just as the Lord had said would happen. From Judah, 6,800 troops armed with shields and spears. From the tribe of Simeon, 7,100 outstanding warriors. From the Levites, 4,600. From the priests, descendants of Aaron, there were 3,700 troops under the command of Zadok, a young man of unusual courage, and Jehoiada. He and 22 members of his family were officers of the fighting priests. From the tribe of Benjamin, the same tribe Saul was from, there were 3,000. Most of that tribe retained its allegiance to Saul. From the tribe of Ephraim, 20,800 mighty warriors, each famous in his respective clan. From the half-tribe of Manasseh, 18,000 were sent for the express purpose of helping David become king. This man about stole the kingdom. From the tribe of Issachar, there were 200 leaders of the tribe with their relatives, all men who understood the temper of the times and knew the best course for Israel to take. From the tribe of Zebulun, there were 50,000 trained warriors. They were fully armed and totally loyal to David. From Naphtali, there were 1,000 officers and 37,000 troops equipped with shields and spears. From the tribe of Dan, there were 28,600 troops, all of them prepared for war. From the tribe of Asher, there were 40,000 trained and ready troops. From the other side of the Jordan, there were the tribes of Reuben and Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, where they lived. There were 120,000 troops equipped with every kind of weapon. All these men came into battle arrayed to Hebron with the single purpose of making David the king of Israel. In fact, all of Israel was ready for this change. They feasted and drank with, that many people. They feasted and drank with David for 3 days, for preparation had been made for their arrival. People from nearby and from far away, as Issachar, Zebulun, and Naphtali, brought food on donkeys, camels, and mules and oxen. Vast supplies of flour, fig cakes, raisins, wine, oil, cattle, and sheep were brought to the celebration, for joy had spread through the land. 1 Chronicles chapter 13, verse 1. That is amazing. After David had consulted with all of his army officers, he addressed the assembled men of Israel as follows: "Since you think that I should be your king, and since the Lord our God has given his approval Let us send messages to our brothers throughout the land of Israel, including the priests and Levites, inviting them to come join us. And let us bring back the ark of our God, for we've been neglecting it ever since Saul became king." Wow. There was unanimous consent, for everyone agreed with him. So David summoned the people of Israel from all across the nation, that they could be present when the ark of God was brought from Kiriath-Jearim. Then David and all Israel went to Baalah, that is Kiriath-Jearim, in Judah, to bring back the ark of the Lord God, enthroned above the guardian angels. It was taken from the house of Abinadab on a new cart. Uzzah and Ahio drove the oxen. Then David and all the people danced before the Lord with great enthusiasm, accompanied by singing and by zithers, harps, tambourines, cymbals, and trumpets. But as they arrived at the threshing floor of Chidon, the oxen stumbled, and Uzzah reached out his hand to steady the ark. Then the anger of the Lord blazed out against Uzzah and killed him, because he had touched the ark. So he died there before God. David was angry at the Lord for what he had done to Uzzah, and he named the place the outbreak against Uzzah, and it is still called that today. Now David was afraid of God and asked, "How shall I ever get the ark of God home?" Finally he decided to take it to the home of Obed-Edom the Gittite, instead of bringing it to the city of David. The ark remained there with the family of Obed-Edom for 3 months, and the Lord blessed him and his family. 1 Corinthians 14:1. First Chronicles 14:1. King Hiram of Tyre sent masons and carpenters to help build David's palace, and he supplied him with much cedar lumber. David now realized why the Lord had made him king and why he had made his kingdom so great. It was for a special reason, to give joy to God's people. After David moved to Jerusalem, he married additional wives and became father of many sons and daughters. These are the names of the sons born to him in Jerusalem: Shemua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elishua, Elpadat, Nogah, Nepheg, Japhiah, Elishama, Belidah, Eliphat. When the Philistines heard that David was Israel's king, they mobilized their forces to capture him. But David learned that they were on the way, so he called his army. The Philistines were raiding the valley of Rephaim. And David asked the Lord, "If I go out and fight them, will you give me the victory?" And the Lord replied, "Yes, I will." So he attacked them at Baal-perazim and wiped them out. He exulted, "God has used me to sweep away my enemies like water bursting through a dam." That is why the place has been called Baal-perazim ever since, meaning the place of breaking through. After the battle, the Israelis picked up many idols left by the Philistines, but David ordered them burned. Later, the Philistines raided the valley again, and again David asked God what to do. The Lord replied, "Go around by the mulberry trees and attack from there. When you hear a sound like marching in the tops of the mulberry trees, that's your signal to attack. For God will go before you and destroy the enemy." So David did as the Lord commanded him, and he cut down the army of the Philistines all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. David's fame spread everywhere, and the Lord caused all nations to fear him. 1 Chronicles chapter 15. David now built several palaces for himself in Jerusalem, and he built a new tabernacle to house the ark of God, and issued these instructions: "When we transfer the ark to its new home, no one except the Levites may carry it, for God has chosen them for this purpose. They are to minister to him forever." David summoned all Israel to Jerusalem to celebrate the bringing of the ark into the new tabernacle. These were the priests and Levites present: 120 from the clan of Kohath, with Uriel as their leader; 220 from the clan of Merari, with Asaiah as their leader; 130 from the clan of Gershom, with Joel as their leader; 200 from the subclan of Elisapham, with Shemaiah as their leader; 80 from the subclan of Hebron, with Eliel as their leader; 112 from the subclan of Uzziel, with Aminadab as their leader. Then David called for Zadok and Abiathar the priests, and for the Levite leaders: Ariel, Asahiah, Joel, Shemaiah, Eliel, and Aminadab. "You are the leaders of the clans of the Levites," he told them. "Now sanctify yourselves with all your brothers, so that you may bring the ark of Jehovah, the God of Israel, to the place I have prepared for it. The Lord destroyed us before because we handled the matter improperly. You were not carrying it." So the priests and the Levites underwent the ceremonies of sanctification and preparation for bringing home the ark of Jehovah, the God of Israel. Then the Levites carried the ark on their shoulders with its carrying poles, just as the Lord had instructed Moses. King David also ordered the Levite leaders to organize the singers into an orchestra, and they played loudly and joyously upon psalteries, harps, and cymbals. Heman, son of Joel, Asaph, son of Berechiah, and Ethan, son of Cushiah, from the clan of Merari, were the heads of the musicians. The following men were chosen as their assistants: Zechariah, Jeziel, Shemariah, Jehiel, Uni, Eliah, Benaiah, Messiah, Mattithiah, Ephelihu, Micaniah, Obed-Edom, and Jael, the doorkeepers. Heman, Asaph, and Ethan were chosen to sound the bronze cymbals, and Zechariah, Aziel, Shemaramoth, Jehiel, Uni, Eliab, Messiah, and Benaiah comprised an octet accompanied by harps. Mattathiah, Eliphalu, Micaniah, Obed-Edom, Jael, and Azaziah were the harpists. The song leader was Shenaniah, the chief of the Levites, who was selected for his skill. Berechiah and Elkanah were guards for the ark. Shebaniah, Joshaphat, Nathanael, Amasai, Zechariah, Benaiah, and Eleazar, all of whom were priests, formed a bugle corps to march at the head of the procession. And Obed-Edom and Jehiah guarded the ark. Then David and the elders of Israel and the high officer of the army went with great joy to the home of Obed-Edom to take the ark to Jerusalem. And because God didn't destroy the Levites who were carrying the ark, they sacrificed 7 bulls and 7 lambs. David and the Levites carrying the ark, the singers, and Shaniah, the song leader, were all dressed in linen robes. David also wore a linen ephod. So the leaders of Israel took the ark to Jerusalem with shouts of joy, the blowing of horns and trumpets, the crashing of cymbals, the loud playing on the harps and zithers. But as the ark arrived in Jerusalem, David's wife, Michal, the daughter of King Saul, felt a deep disgust for David as she watched from the window and saw him dancing like a madman. My God, this is the word of the Lord.